Oliver and I are heading over to Fontana. We're gonna go see a NASCAR event with Janet, Jaden, and Janelle. We are currently at Costco trying to fill up our tank before we head over at the Speedway racetrack. But yeah, come and join us today for a fun-filled day of car racing. Little did I know this NASCAR event was going to be the final event at the Fontana racetrack. Apparently parts of the land were sold off and NASCAR decided to rebuild a new, smaller track with the money that they profited from. Yay, we just got in! Vroom, vroom. Vroom, vroom. We went through security and then now we just gotta find Janet and our seat. I thought it was going to be really cold because it was snowing yesterday, but it's actually really nice. I didn't know anything about racing. My naive mind thought that the drivers just needed to outdrive each other, but from what I learned from Janet is that it's more complex than what it looks like on the screen. As soon as we walked in, we headed towards the stands to our designated spots. We were right in the center with the suites behind us. The venue was grand, and little by little the seats were filling up quickly. And soon after, we sat down and the race began. At one point, I noticed that these cars would stop at the pit stop to get their vehicles checked and their tires replaced due to the wear and tear of the tires. I was surprised, though, that there was already a car with what seemed like engine issues. In the distance, you can see that this blue car was taken to the back to have it checked out. When this happens, the other drivers continue to drive around the track. Soon thereafter, I noticed that there was a person waving a yellow flag from the starter's stand, indicating that drivers will need to drive cautiously and slow to 80% speed, but nothing slower than that, except when passing the incident or emergency vehicle where additional caution is required. After the first round, I decided to go back down to where the concession stands were and explore the various areas to see what else they had. Like any sporting events, I saw that they were selling foods like the standalone cruising cone stall, and it wasn't until I went down closer to the ground level where there were hardcore food options like barbecue nachos, pulled pork, fish and chips. They also had multiple photo ops, and I also remember seeing one of California's well-known taco spots, King Taco. I personally didn't end up getting anything, but as soon as we went back to the stands, I was able to try some of the snacks that Janet had brought to the event, which I thought was really cool because most sporting events won't allow you to bring outside foods, but NASCAR actually allows you to bring your own food and your own drinks to the event. It was the start of the second round when the races started to get heated. In the beginning, the drivers must uniformly line up with one another and have a similar speed. However, someone in the middle of the formation wasn't able to maintain their speed, which resulted in multiple drivers colliding into one another. This was probably the most exhilarating and exciting part of the event. Watching some of the drivers spin out of control into the grass and slowly getting their cars towed away was something I would have never imagined seeing at my very first NASCAR event. Luckily, the drivers were all safe because of how safe these cars are built.
You don't see it too often, Dean, but sometimes if one driver just does not go, it stacks everybody up.
was also interesting to see the cleaning crew clear the area so fast and efficiently. They had these trucks with powerful air blowing towards the center so that whatever debris that was on the racetrack would not cause any further accidents or affect the rest of the race. It was very impressive, as it was in minutes when everything resumed back to normal. As I sat there, I knew that there was only so much action you can see as the cars go in circles. And at this point, I would slowly start to observe the people in the stands and also listen closely to the announcer to hear what he's saying. I would also look at the tall scoreboard to try to understand the point system for NASCAR racing. However, as Janet tried to explain the scoring system, I genuinely couldn't understand, as the numbers kept changing as some of the drivers would pass other drivers, leaving them behind in the dust. And at times, I would also observe the flagman at the center indicating when drivers need to slow down or when the race is almost at the end. After watching the second and the third round of the NASCAR drivers driving around the tracks, they ended up picking a winner. And this year's winner of the 2023 NASCAR race ended up being Kyle Busch. When they announced the winner, I immediately grabbed my phone to see why that name had sounded so familiar, and quickly realized that he was a part of the Anheuser-Busch family, famously known for their beers Budweiser, Bud Light, and other brands such as Miller Lite, Hoegaarden, and Shock Top. It was then when I realized we had pretty good seats at the racetrack when Kyle's car stopped right in front of where we were sitting and started to peel out in front of the audience. As he circles around and around, burning his tires, he slowly comes out, and for whatever reason, he starts walking up to the fence to greet the audience and quickly goes back to the track. I'm so happy that my first NASCAR event was a memorable time here at the Auto Club Speedway, and want to thank Janet for inviting me and Oliver to enjoy this event. Not only was this the final event at the specific track, which hosted many races the past 20 plus years, I personally had the chance to witness car crashes with my own two eyes, and I have learned a lot more about this sport than what I had anticipated.
We're about to leave, but that was so much fun. I never knew that I would love NASCAR. It's just an all-around cool sport. It's really loud, and they have a lot of people like shouting and cheering for the cars to go round and round, and I didn't realize it actually has a lot of rules and regulations that you wouldn't know as an average person unless if you are hanging out with somebody that actually knows about it.
I personally cannot wait to go back to another NASCAR event, but unfortunately, the Fontana racetrack won't be ready until 2026. So hopefully, I'll be able to go back then. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!